Mr. Hemanth, there's another area that I would like to bring upon here. This is from the point of implementing sector, or it could be a knowledge partner in CSR domain. So what's happening today is that the organization's responsibility towards community, employees, and the other stakeholders being very significant. There are some disadvantages that has been there with this sector, like for instance, which is putting these organization into a dilemma, like rising cost of operations, locking horns with stakeholders, and public image, and also losing sight of what matters. So how do we actually overcome such scenarios, and what is your expert advice to this segment, Mr. Hemanth?
So, two things. I mean, we continue to have these kind of things now also. In how much ever best we make the implementation framework, all the monitoring components or the frameworks, we still come across these kind of things, because ultimately beneficiaries are free enough to choose whether to be a beneficiary under the tag of beneficiary or not. So that's a risk. All social interventions will always have that part of it. So that is one. And the second perspective, situations do change. Stakeholders might change their own perspective, and there might be some unforeseen components which happen. So there are many things which happen which can derail, and will always derail also if we don't give due attention to that part of it. So considering these two components, what I would suggest, and to an extent mitigate these kind of a risk, is we need to have an ear to the ground every time. We should never take our ears from the ground. It's very, very important that we are focused and connected with the ground. What happens is many times we feel that since we have done this, or since we have been doing this from long time, we know what will happen or what might be the response. That's an assumption and an hypothesis. We always need to keep that in mind, that hypothesis can be proved wrong and it might need to get customized. So changing times means we need to be pretty much alert about what is happening on ground every day in and day out, irrespective of it's a repetitive aspect, but still we need to do that. And second part of it, how much ever we curse the process and the frameworks, we need to stick to them and follow that part of it. If we deviate from a process or change a framework, then we need to understand with a substantial backup as to why we are doing it. If we have no backup or a logical framework for doing that part of it, then we might not achieve the set objectives or the outcomes which we had envisioned at the starting of the intervention. So these two are very important, which I feel, and first component is the most important, that we always need to be connected with the ground.
Absolutely. Very well spoken about that, Mr. Hemanth. Thank you so much. That's indeed a very good direction for a lot of implementing agencies and organizations would want to streamline their operations there.